What's up, card gamers? It's Cheap Card Gamer, and I am really happy to introduce you to my first ever guest on the show. And I'm very excited because my wife, Kim, is here to share her thoughts on a game that we've been playing together quite a bit in Wingspan. Kim, since it's your first time on, would you like to take a minute to just say hello to everybody and maybe describe for us your experience with the genre of card games?
Hey everyone. Well, before I met Tim, I had absolutely no experience whatsoever with card games. I'd never even heard of Magic, or Dragon Ball Z, really. Just had heard of Pokemon. But yes, since we started dating, since we got married, I started to play some. Still not a lot, but I've played Magic, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, a little bit of Keyforge. And I think that's it.
I've roped you into several games,
Oh
and
yeah.
some games you've kind of thought were okay, but others I think you humored me by
Yeah,
playing
we,
with
we
me.
had some fun times. Yeah. I enjoyed playing Magic.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun, yeah.
All right. So we are going to talk about Wingspan today. If you haven't heard of Wingspan, Wingspan is a board game for 1 to 5 players, and you're trying to attract birds to your bird sanctuary in order to win. You're trying to accumulate the most points you possibly can. The player with the most points is the winner. You take turns, players take turns doing one of four things. On your turn, you'll either play a bird, gain food, lay eggs on the birds, and there's little miniature pieces for the eggs that are actually really cool. They look like little tiny robin's eggs. Or you can draw more bird cards. So you can play a bird, gain food, lay eggs, or draw more bird cards. Now, the trick is to play birds, you have to have resources. You have to pay the food cost. And later in the game, as you accumulate more birds, you have to pay eggs. So there's sort of a constant battle between wanting to put more birds on the board, which makes your other actions more powerful, and having the resources to play them. And do I want to take a turn to gain resources, or sort of the decision making between what you want? And there's a limited amount of turns. The game ends after whatever it is, 26 turns or however many it is. So you have to make the most out of your turns. And I will say this is one thing that the designers of the game did really well, because in my experience, and I don't know if you feel the same, but you always feel like, man, I don't quite have enough turns. I want to do this and this. And especially when you get to the end of the game, you're like, man, I didn't make the most out of my turns. Have you kind of
Oh
felt the same way
yeah. Oh
playing it?
yeah. That last round for sure. It's just not enough.
In the last round, I always woefully realize how I've mismanaged my resources and drawn way too many bird cards that I can't possibly play, and how bad I am at math. So I would say that's good game design, because it always makes us want to play another
Oh
game or have
yeah.
another
Oh yeah.
round. And when the rounds are out, you want to play again. Well, we're going to tell you what we like and don't like about the game, but first we're going to take a quick break. All right, guys, we're back. Kim, how often would you say we play Wingspan? We bought the game in January, so how much experience would you say we have with this game?
Oh wow. Well, we play almost every day, usually twice a day if we can. So I would say that's quite a bit.
There is a score pad that comes with the game, where you can fill in your score at the end and tally the points and everything. And we completely filled out the first score pad and from the base game, and then we bought the European expansion, which also includes score pad, and we're pretty good ways into that one as well. So yeah, we've played quite a bit of the game. I will say that I love this game, and I loved it when I first saw it. Part, I think, of my enjoyment of the game is I'm a bird lover. I am a big time bird lover, and I think that contributes to my enjoyment of the game. If it were about like horses or something else, I don't know if I would like it as much. However, I don't know. There's a lot of things I like about the game. What are some of the things that you really like about it?
I do like the birds. I think that's neat for sure. My favorite thing though is beating you every day,
Don't
stomping
lie.
you into the ground as usual.
Don't lie to the people. Come on now. This is an honest show.
But yeah, no, I like how it's very relaxing. Like it's
Even when you're getting beat into the
for me.
ground.
Oh yeah, on the rare occasion that happens. But now I like it how you can play and enjoy it without really having to think so critically. There still is definitely some strategy, but it's, I would say, more relaxing than some card games that I've played. Um, and I like also, oh, another thing, how you can play a game pretty quickly. Like it doesn't take forever. And so that's fun too, because we might could play a couple of games of it instead of just, one really long game.
Yeah, in the beginning when we were learning, I would say maybe a game was around an hour, but we're really, now that we've learned that
Yeah.
once you see kind of how it works and you know what to do, we're down to probably playing a game in like 30 minutes or so,
Yeah,
wouldn't you
30,
say?
40
30
minutes.
to 40 minutes
Yeah.
for two players. So that's not bad at all. Some of you guys hearing this will know that that is really short. The first thing that I noticed when I opened the box up and started looking at everything was how beautiful and all the art and the how the pieces are crafted are just super well made and beautiful. Like I talked about the eggs. The eggs look fantastic. There's a bunch of different color eggs, which has no real functionality to the different colors. They just look great. And all the art on the bird cards is just really good. There's actually a dice tower that comes with the game, and it's shaped like a bird feeder, which I thought was really neat.
That's like Tim's favorite part,
I love having the bird
the
feeder.
bird feeder.
That's the showpiece. When you bring this game to show off to people and play at their house, like, hey, I got to show you this game, Wingspan, and you pull out the bird feeder, like people are gonna, yeah, you're gonna have some gasps of astonishment when you bring out the bird feeder. But a couple of things that I think are really cool about the game too. Birds act in the game the way they do in real life. Now, I didn't know this until I researched this a little bit, but like, there's different types of nests, and that corresponds to the types of nests that birds build in real life. And like how many eggs they can lay and things like that are accurate to what they do in the real world. So it's pretty educational. You can actually, every bird card has some information at the bottom too that will tell you something about the bird. So I've learned a couple things about birds that I didn't know before. It's interesting if you're into that type of discovering and being into the universe. But it's all about birds, so just make sure you know that before you're coming in. There are a lot of birds. I want to say the base game has like 180 bird cards, and then they have a European expansion set that adds like another 80. So there's a good bit of bird cards. However, I will say through the course of a game, you'll crank through a ton of bird cards. You'll see a bunch because you don't always play all of them that you have. Some you discard and you do different things. But as far as favorites go, do you have any favorite birds from the game?
Hmm. I think, yes, I do. I think the Chihuahuan, I think that's how you say it, Chihuahuan raven.
Chihuahuan raven.
Yes, I think that's probably my favorite bird. Um,
Let me say real quick about the Chihuahuan raven that it should probably be banned from the game. It's too powerful. It's broken. Chihuahuan raven is OP.
yeah,
Have we played a game? If you get the Chihuahuan raven on the first turn on the board, I don't think we've played a game where that player hasn't won the game. Is that
I
right?
think there was one time that you like foiled it when
One
you
time
got
out of
it.
20.
Yeah, but it's pretty much like a
It's
guarantee. Yeah,
super
it
powerful.
helps
He
so
kind of
much.
bends the rules of the game and allows you to trade one resource for two. And I think it should be removed. It's just too powerful. But I
Yeah,
can see why you would like that
yeah,
card. Yeah.
that's probably my favorite.
Super powerful.
I like the I think it's the red-legged partridge
Red-legged
also.
partridge. Yeah.
Yeah, where you can lay eggs on all the birds in the column. That's a
Anybody,
fun one
if
too.
you're not familiar with these birds and you haven't played the game, who's hearing this podcast now is saying, all right, I'm just listening to them say names of birds, red-legged partridge. And just imagine how amazing it must be. If you don't know anything about that, just picture a red-legged partridge in your head. And in all its glory, just imagine how great that must be. And let me just guarantee you that it's actually better than whatever you're imagining right now.
Yeah, yeah.
He's cool though. He can lay a ton of eggs, so he gets a lot of he can rack up a lot of points. Um, Let me ask you this. Well, I'll tell you my favorite cards real quick. There is a bird. There's a couple birds that I like that are really interesting. One is called Ruff, which I wasn't aware before this game that there was a bird called Ruff. Ruff is pretty fun. He helps you draw a lot of cards and usually racks up a ton of points. So I'm always happy to see him. Common Chiff Chaff is the same way. I really like the Common Chiff
You
Chaff.
just last night you won a game with Ruff and Common Chip Chaff.
Yep, I
Yeah,
combined them and
it's good.
drew a million cards, and I didn't think I was going to win. Actually, that's another thing that's kind of fun about the game is there's a lot of like ways that you can earn bonus points and things. So you kind of don't know exactly how many points you have until the end. You have you can have a decent idea from looking at the board, but once you see things like bonus card points and things like that, then it can swing the game one way or another. So, let me ask you one other question, which we didn't talk about a lot, but how much role would you say luck plays in determining the winner in Wingspan?
I do think luck definitely affects it, just because, like with any card game, to some degree, you're drawing cards. And so if you happen to draw some really good cards and your opponent does not, that obviously would help you a lot. So, I mean, I definitely think there is some strategy, that comes into play, but I think luck does affect it. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say luck affects it. Any game is
Right.
typically somewhat affected by luck, but it comes into play in this one because there are some cards that are just you just don't want to play, and then there's others like Chihuahua and Raven. Like if you get it on the first turn, it's really gonna pretty much make you win. But yeah, so luck does come into play, but I have found that I've had a good time even when I didn't get the best cards. If I just get like five woodpeckers to play, I'm just happy to see like five woodpeckers on the board.
Well,
And
you do love woodpeckers.
I do, and
So,
I get tickled by stuff like that. Like if I can play like three different pelicans, then I'm like happy to see that. So yeah, it doesn't really affect my enjoyment of it too much. Is there anything you would say that you don't like about Wingspan?
I like most everything about it. I would say maybe the only thing is because we play so much, because we play one or two games per day, we just go through a lot of cards. And so we end up kind of seeing some of the same cards, or all of the same cards really repeated. So maybe just to have even a greater amount of cards, maybe more variety. I'm sure as they release more expansion packs, that will help a lot.
Yeah, and so when you open the box and you see like 200 cards, you're like, oh man, this is crazy. And your first experience, few games going through is like, man, there's birds that I haven't even seen. You play through several times and see birds for the first time and things like that. But then once you have played several games, you probably see a good 40 or 50 birds in each game. And so for 200 cards, after you've played a few games, you've seen them all. And as you play over and over, you see a lot of them over and over. And so you do go through the cards, and I guess that's a similar issue to any card game that's out there. Is I guess if you want to compare this to like a living card game, for example, you're gonna be have done everything you could do pretty much with those cards. Um, I will say making different combinations kind of mitigates that a little bit because you combine different cards with other ones and kind of be able to do interesting things that you haven't done before. But yeah, I do recommend getting the European expansion if you try the base game and enjoy it. Which, by the way, I'll add a link for the store where you can buy this game from. But it does retail from the web stores made by Stonemeyer Games for $59.99 for the base set, which I would say is an incredible value. I mean, the amount
Oh,
of times
yeah.
that we've played it, we've more than gotten that back from it. So if it sounds good to you, check that out. The European expansion does add a bunch of cards, and it's only $25, which for us was really good value, but you can try the base set and decide if that's good for you. I would give it, if I were giving it a score, honestly, I don't have that much that I don't like about it, and it has been a blast to play. I don't see any reason to not give it a 10 out of 10. Would you agree with that score?
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun with it. It's been even more fun, honestly, than I thought it would be.
If I wasn't a bird lover, I don't know if I would enjoy it that much, but it still is just such a fun game to play. And we have played with other people who are not really bird lovers and they've really enjoyed the game and they're asking us, hey, when are you going to bring this back so that we can play again? And there's one other thing I guess I should mention before we go is, we have a blast playing two players. We did play, four with four once, and I thought it was really fun. And we even did one where we played five, and I was teaching four new players. It was me and four new players who didn't know how to play. And I still think it was very fun. Everybody said, they
Yeah.
had a good time. I think it was good. So whatever your play group is a very versatile game. You can play with pretty much any play group.
And I think it's pretty easy to learn too, because by the end of the game, it seemed like everybody like knew what was going on and had a strategy. And
Yeah, it may seem daunting at first, but I think by the time you finish even just one game, you'll kind of understand the system and how it works. And yeah, it's super enjoyable. Anyway, Wingspan, highly recommend it. Thank you guys for checking in. And as always, I hope y'all have a wonderful day.